Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Now it's that time of year where we're going to start to bake up all of these delicious treats and cakes and so much more and get ready for the holiday season. So in today's video, I'm going to start it off by making a new black cake recipe. I hope you all enjoy, and I'm going to give you guys all of my tips and tricks throughout this video so you can get the perfect, moist, dense, and fruity black cake at home. If you guys want to see all of the ingredients and measurements, I'll have them listed in the description box right below this video. So just click below the video, scroll down a bit, and everything will be right there. I hope you all enjoy. Whenever I'm baking, I always like to start off with all of my dried ingredients. So in my bowl, I'm adding in some all-purpose flour. I'm also going to be going in with some baking powder. I'm also going to be going in with some spice at this time. I'm adding in some freshly ground nutmeg. And at this point, I'm going to be going in with a little bit of ground cinnamon. Of course, you can use any spices that you prefer. I know some people make it with a lot of different things, and some people like to go the simple way as well. And at this point, now that I've added everything in, I'm going to mix this up very well until all of the dried ingredients are combined. So at this point, we're going to start working with the wet ingredients. So I'm using my mixer today just because I want to make this much easier, but if you wanted to do it by hand, you can definitely do that. But in the mixer, I'm going in with my softened salted butter, and I'm also going to be going in with my sugar. And you all know that whenever I make any black cake or fruit cake or things like that, I definitely like to use brown sugar over the white sugar. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and beat up the softened butter as well as my sugar for a good 8 to 10 minutes. What you want to happen here is you want it to get very fluffy. You want to make sure the sugar melts away into the butter, and you're going to see it lightens up in color just like you're seeing here. Every once in a while, I'm going in with my spatula and I'm just cleaning down the edges, scraping it down, and I'm going to keep on letting it beat until it gets light and fluffy. And while I'm mixing together the butter and the sugar, I want to add in my extracts. So I'm using some almond essence today, and I'm also going to be going in with some mixed essence. You can also use vanilla essence or extract if you wish as well. Spice it up as per your own likings. And once your butter and the sugar get nice and fluffy and light in texture, you're going to go ahead and start to stream in your eggs one at a time. What I like to do is I like to crack all of my eggs into a measuring cup, and then as this is beating, I'll just go ahead and pour in one at a time until they're well combined. So once all of those eggs are properly combined and you have a beautiful smooth mixture, it's time to go in with all of those fruits. So I have many recipes or tutorials on my channel on how to soak and grind your fruits, what kind of alcohol to use, what kinds of fruits to use, and all of those measurements and everything. I will also leave a measurement in the description box below this video on how much of the soaked fruits you'd want to use. But basically I'm adding these fruits in a little bit at a time until it properly mixes with the butter and the sugar. You're also going to notice that my fruits look very dark, and the reason for that is that while they were soaking, I had added in just a little bit of browning into the mixture to allow it to soak with it. By doing that, it really lets the fruits get nice and dark in color, and it also helps the color of the cake, and it makes you not have to add in too much browning later on in the process. That's just a little tip I wanted to share with you all because I did not include that in my other recipes. So my fruits have combined very well with my wet ingredients. At this point, I'm going to add in that dry ingredient mixture that we made in the beginning. So I'm just taking a spoonful at a time, and on the lowest setting, you want to just fold it in and mix all of those dried ingredients in. And definitely remember that as you're mixing in the dried ingredients, every once in a while, you want to stop the mixer, you want to open it up and scrape down the sides because sometimes the flour gets stuck at the bottom or in the middle of the mixture and it doesn't mix in properly. So once I get everything mixed, I like to go ahead and just take my spatula and mix it up even more and really dig down to the bottom, just in case there's any extra flour. But this is it. This is my mixture. I'm not adding in any extra browning because my mixture of fruits definitely had enough. But of course, if you wanted it to be darker, you can add in more browning. So this is how you know your black cake mixture is perfect. When you rest your spoon or spatula in it, it needs to stand up perfectly. If it does not stand up, that means that you either have too little bit of flour in the mixture and it's not going to bake properly. So at this point, it is time to bake our cakes. So I have my baking tray here and I'm using an 8-inch baking tray that I went ahead and coated with some butter and flour. You have to grease it so this way it comes out easy when you're done baking it. Now I could have fit this in one 8-inch or one 9-inch round tray, but I didn't want to sit there and have these baking for too long. So I split my mixture in half and I put it in two 8-inch pans. It all depends on how thick you want that black cake. But I'm going to pop these into my oven that I've preheated to 350 degrees, and they're going to bake from anywhere to 30 minutes to an hour depending on how thin or thick that you make it. Just remember that as you're baking it, you want to go ahead and check it after the top gets dry So this way you can test if it is done. The way you test it is you take a toothpick and insert it, and when you take the toothpick out, if the toothpick is clean, the cake is done. If it's not clean, it is not done. So this is what my cakes look like when they come out of the oven, and right away you want to go ahead and soak them down with some nice wine or some alcohol of your choice. I'm just using some regular red wine here today. You can also use the E&J brand brandy. My grandmother also likes to add in port wine to hers, so you can use whatever you like as well. I also am going in with a little bit of Captain Morgan spice rum onto this second cake, just because I want to see how it tastes in the end, but you can soak it down with anything like I said. And the best thing whenever you're making black cake is not to serve it right away. You want to go ahead and soak it once when it comes out of the oven and really let it soak nicely. And then maybe that same night or the next day or whenever you're ready to serve it again, you can soak it down again. But this right here is my finished black cake. This is the next day after I soaked it down for another time, and I'm just cutting into it to show you how beautiful it looks like on the inside. Like I said, if you wanted to, you can put it all together in one pan to make a nice thick black cake, but this was good for me. And look at the inside. It's nice and dense, it is moist, and everything a black cake should be. But this is how I make my black cake. I hope you all enjoyed the video today. Please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet, and drop your comments down below. If you all want to see how to make a Guyanese style fruit cake, I'll be sharing that in my next video, so please stay tuned for that to come. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye everyone.